Good evening, Trump family. Welcome to Open Source News. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Now we will come to today's news. Huge news. Washington Post canon rules Trump lawyers don't have to clarify claims on Mar-a-Lago documents. Politico judge again sides with Trump and Mar-a-Lago documents fight really quickly. The reason the judge is siding with Trump is that he did not commit a crime. You don't have to investigate whether or not Trump committed a crime as if they're trying to find out this elaborate plot of a former president who took clashing data from the United States government. He's a former president with the power of declassified, and he had documents for a library. President Obama had 30 million documents, but they said, whoa, they were unclassified. The chances of 30 million presidential records being unclassified initially is like zero. But anyway, nobody knows how long it took 30 million pages to be reviewed by the National Archives, and they still haven't been digitized, or in some kind of accessible manner for people who voted for President Obama to see those records. Okay, so he hasn't abided by his promises. But see, that's another story. You had Clinton siphoning classified data outside of the United States government. You know what? There were violations of the legal statutes pertaining to the handling of classified data, but no reasonable prosecutor would indict. And so then Democrats say, oh, the rule of law. By the way, my latest short, Mueller says himself, it's Mueller's own words. Robert Mueller, the Honorable Robert Mueller time. Remember the special counsel Mueller that found nothing with Trump? Absolutely nothing. But nobody called for the special counsel to end when they found absolutely nothing. They just indicted people on processed crimes. The allegation that Trump colluded or conspired or worked with the Kremlin was completely false. They never even got close to indict and Trump because again, they fabricated everything. Pacific judge against sides with Trump and Mar-a-Lago documents fight the world of Thursday as Canada's first significant move in the process since last week, when a federal appeals court sharply rejected her decision to initially include about 100 documents with national security classification. So you're always gonna get your here. Let's just read this. The judge overseeing Donald Trump's challenge to the Federal Bureau of Investigation seizure of documents from his Florida state against siding with the former president Thursday in an ongoing showdown with the Justice Department. U.S. District Court Judge Eileen Cannon issued an order extending the timeline of an outside review Trump demanded of the documents and other materials. The Bureau cedes from Mar-a-Lago on August 8 as part of an investigation into alleged unlawful retention of classified materials and other government records as well as obstruction of justice. So they didn't get him on obstruction in the Mueller probe because the Mueller probe was started on false, bogus, fake, absurd pretexts, initial allegations. He would never worked with the Kremlin just because James Clapper and Brennan in the Steele dossier and Glenn Simpson and Clinton in the DNC said so. Does it make it so? Doesn't make it true? Mueller said there's no evidence or the evidence was insufficient, meaning there was no evidence to indict, meaning there was no evidence. Okay, they weren't honorable enough to even say, oh, there was no FBI didn't find any evidence he committed a crime. The evidence was insufficient. In other words, there was no evidence to use in a court of law to prove your claim. Democrats cannot prove their claims about Trump. If he was guilty of 1/100th of everything he was accused of, he would have already been in prison. The difference is that Clinton Hunter Democrats are actually guilty. Joe is actually guilty. They use investigations to then hide and cover up the truth. Oh, we're investigating Hunter. Well, you have the emails that show graft and bribery schemes. You have 150 suspicious financial transactions. But you have all the information. You have all the information you need to indict. You have nothing on Trump. That's why you say, oh, we're investigating him. We're investigating because he hasn't committed a crime. And you need that public relations spin, and you need that political boost. Before midterms, you're going after your direct political rivals. You're trying to interfere in the midterms, as always, so the Mueller probe in 2018, but here so she also overruled some of the procedures proposed by an independent reviewer, senior district court, who must be appointed. So okay, so she overruled. Big deal. Great. It actually benefits Trump to the detriment of the Democratic Party. Okay, maybe they're after him and they're trying to torment him. It's not working. They're not going to get Trump on anything. But here's CNN, Trump bails Trump out a special master plan that would have forced uncomfortable submissions in court. Here for President Trump got another boost in his bid to challenge the Bureau search. With U.S. District Court canon reshaping the plan put forward by a special master she appointed. So why did she appoint us? But if he's not doing what he should, or if he perhaps needs to abide by a certain law, what's the problem there? That's right, helps Trump. You can't have that. Canon ended several aspects of the plan proposed by Raymond Dearie judge theory who put forward by Trump's third party that would require the former president to make uncomfortable assertions in court, including whether he actually believes the FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago as he suggested it in public statements. Here's the issue with Trump in that statement. Democrats recoil in horror. They're completely indignant always. If you told them in 2016, yeah, he didn't work with the Kremlin, the NSA and others would have already found out. Oh my God, how dare you? There's special counsel Mueller has to investigate in 2017. We don't know yet. How dare you say he never worked with the Kremlin? Look at these Facebook ads. Schwank 2016. The people who are so petrified that inaccurate information will sway voters are the ones who perpetuate the most absurd allegations. And then when they're called on it, and when they find nothing, they found nothing with Stormy and Audis in prison. They found nothing with Mueller probe, like absolutely nothing. And then you get these imbeciles saying, oh, we knew that there was a concerted effort by the Kremlin. How many Facebook? Can you even name a Facebook ad? There's not one Democrat on this planet who can actually name a Facebook ad. Explain what the ad looked like? How did it sway and how did it convince people to go from Clinton to Trump? They won't be able to tell you. And so now Trump doesn't have to. He doesn't have to sign a sworn declaration saying what I hereby retract my statement that the pristine Bureau never planted anything. Could they have? Definitely they could have. You have Bureau officials resigning. You have Bureau officials saying we'll stop Trump? You have one official resigning because he covered up the Hunter story. You have one official who pled guilty to falsifying records. Michael Horowitz. You will see that there were more than three that he found that had animus towards Trump. Okay. It's not rocket science. You have people in a bureaucracy that despise Donald Trump. You have law enforcement official, the highest law enforcement agency. You have people at the top who absolutely despise Trump. Now, Democrats are very proud of this. Okay. They're very happy that they have government officials on their side. They think that they're going after Trump, and sometimes you go on MSNBC, you see the comments. It's so hilarious. Trump, one day he'll have to, face his crimes and he'll get in. You go to prison. And it's no, Clinton actually did commit crimes. These people are like Inspector General, former director of the Bureau, former special counsel. It's their words. You need to worry about morally superior liberal Democrats, not mine. And their words tell the world that, oh, yeah, there was never anything on Trump. So now, because of the haphazard manner, and finally 10 minutes in because of the haphazard manner in which they took all the documents, the judge said, basically, look, they took so many documents, it's impossible for Trump to actually make a sworn declaration, because Trump's Trump. Like I said this morning, his lawyers claim there's 200,000 plus documents taken. Trump won't have to back up his claim in court that about the Bureau planting evidence. So because the judge probably realizes it's very possible that they planted evidence because you have agents who with absolute contempt for Trump, Canada on Thursday rejected the part of special measure would have forced the president's legal team to back up as out-of-court claims. Why would he have to do that? When you already know that you had one agent stating we'll stop Trump. You have one agent who falsified records to a FISA judge, you have numerous other agents that had text messages that were negative, and, berating Trump, you have one agent forced out the other week, 2 weeks ago because he influenced social media algorithms. The New York Post says was suspended by Twitter in large part because of this agent's work or agents that he was working with. So the whole thing was you have the entire American political system level the Trump, they're basically, you have morally superior, highly educated, wonderful liberal Democrats who are basically touching themselves in ecstasy. Every time Mar-a-Lago gets raided, Or there's another investigation in Georgia for something that happened 2 years ago where they couldn't find a crime but they're investigating. One day they'll get Trump. You're just wait, it could be after he's in the Oval Office in 24. But you wait. And so it's like, they've convinced themselves. See what really took place. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why you watch this channel. The Clintons had 30-40 years of endless scandals, overt law breaking or covert law breaking, whatever. And they had graft and bribery scale graphs, a scheme with the foundation. Okay, that's obvious. Uranium won 20% of US uranium capacity. Albert Trump was the operative of the Kremlin. Okay. That's the New York Times. Okay. Even Snopes said, well, President Obama could have vetoed the sale. It wasn't Hillary to veto. It's like, well, why didn't he veto the sale? I thought they were the big adversaries that we have in this generation. So yeah, we know why. And so what happened is Democrats and media, and the American political establishment says, how can we get the average Democrat to care enough about politics, and the way that the average Republican cares about the Clintons, or the average person with any knowledge of politics, understands or is aware or cognizant of what the Clintons have done the past 30-40 years? Okay. Let's just accuse Trump of everything under the sun and tie his rhetoric to democracy or the fate of democracy, and accused him of everything, accused him of things he never said, have the entire media go after him because in 2016, he slipped through the cracks. They weren't expecting Trump in 2016. Now they have everything leveled at him. And now you have morally superior, apoplectic, almost always hysterical, but highly educated, wonderful, beautiful human beings, liberal Democrats who live for Trump to be one day in prison because of the crimes that he committed that they can't prove in a court of law. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button to watch the next episode.